Which conspiracy theory is so believable that it might be true? That your phone's microphone is constantly hot and it's listening for keywords to target advertising. Most glaring instance where this happened to me was when I walked into a colleague's office. He had just gotten a standing desk, but one that goes on top of his existing desk rather than a standalone model. That's important to note. I said nice standing desk. When did you get that? Thanks. Just today. He replied. That was literally all that was said about the desk. We talked about work related stuff, and as I walked out and checked my phone, there was an ad on Facebook for that exact model of standing desk. I have never owned one, wanted one, or googled one before, yet there it was on my feed. Tinfoil hat be damned. They listenin'. I've had this happen to me twice in the last month. Things I talked about with my daughter, one being hard-boiled eggs, showed up on my feed hours later. There it was, an ad for a hard-boiled egg cooker. Never googled anything about hard-boiled eggs. Weird af. I can't remember the first one. When I said something to my daughter about it after the first time, she called me crazy. When I showed her the egg thing, she said, well damn. You might be right. This isn't even a conspiracy theory. Stay on top of your app permissions, especially for Google services and apps. Background stuff especially. Michael Jackson was chemically castrated by his father to preserve his soprano singing voice, which was the source for his infatuation with children. I do remember reading something about this a while ago, that there was a theory that some sort of medication he had taken had chemically castrated him. I wonder if there's any sort of source for this. My conspiracy theory, Facebook purposely attempts to ruin people's relationships because the drama gets more views and more views sell more ads. Several years ago they introduced a feature so that your comments on other pages would show up in your friends' feeds. So if you're secretly an atheist and you comment on some atheist page, it shows up in your devout Southern Baptist Grandma Muriel's timeline, even though it's a conversation that has nothing to do with her and there's no reason for it to be. As a result, Facebook outs you to your family, and Grandma is typing away at all the evil Satanists trying to corrupt her grandson. And if you comment on a public post, it's unavoidable. You used to be able to control who could see your comments even on public posts by other pages. But at the same time Facebook introduced their tattletale feature. They took that ability away. Now if they were to stumble across the same page they'd be able to see your comment. But after that change, Facebook started pointing everybody you know directly to it. Not to mention, the privacy settings are difficult to find, difficult to understand, and with each passing year gives you less and less control over who sees what. By forcibly combining everybody's social circles, Facebook is trying to generate conflict. They want to generate conflict because the conflict happens on Facebook, which means people logging onto Facebook more often and seeing more ads. They're essentially an internet tabloid, except instead of showcasing the personal drama of celebrities for clicks and sales, they're doing it to you instead. Ever notice how the vast majority of family drama, relationship fights, etc. these days happens on Facebook? That's by design. Facebook is literally destroying the social fabric to make a buck, consuming relationship stability like it's an oil refinery consuming crude. That's why you hide your real opinions on FB and share them on Reddit instead. All rocks are soft until you go to touch them. Sounds like my NVM. That there are hundreds of companies that operate tens of thousands of Reddit accounts each. They have been auto-rigging these accounts for years. Use scripts to auto-post and comment, and have humans that shift through all the accounts to make various comments to maintain these accounts. These companies have the ability to control and game their way to the front of Reddit. Huge brands use them. Special interest groups use them. Political parties use them. It's not a conspiracy. It's a real thing. The ballistic missile threat that was sent to Hawaiian cell phones saying, "Seek shelter, this is not a drill," that was later deemed a mistake, was a real missile that was intercepted before impact. I could see this being real, but is there anything to back up the claim? Yeah, I feel like, though plausible, that this would be super obvious, especially if it was from another country. Darth Jar Jar was 100% planned and hinted at in TPM. But the sheer amount of hatred for the character made Lucas back down. I actually wish he went through with the original vision. So do all of us. But that William Shakespeare never wrote any of the works that have been attributed to him. I don't think I believe the theory 100%. But the lack of evidence to support him as a writer is amusing. William Shakespeare was born, lived, and died in a small town that consisted of not much more than sheep farmers. His father made sheepskin gloves. Certainly not the life that would have contributed to the knowledge of the many royal topics of Shakespeare's works. Surely the true author of Shakespeare's works would have had the means to travel and learn of all the worldly topics that his works were based on. We do know that he did own the Globe Theatre and that he did work there as an actor. There is no record of his attendance at any schools. He was raised in an illiterate household. Both of his parents signed all legal documents with a mark, a sign of illiteracy. There are 6 surviving signatures of Shakespeare. All of them look as if a 4-year-old wrote them. They were almost assuredly written by an illiterate person. All of the signatures were found on documents such as a mortgage contract and his will. There are no surviving original written literary works written by Shakespeare. There are no surviving personal letters written by him. Surely a letter written from Shakespeare would be coveted as prized possession. Surely destined to survive to the present day. Mozart's handwritten letters professing his desire to poop on his cousin's face. Link. Wikipedia. org/wiki/mozart_and_scatology_scatters have survived to this present day, but not a single letter written by William Shakespeare. The only surviving written documents, written in his hand, were his will, and few other small pieces. All pieces of his writing that have been found were all written in secretary hand, a very basic form of writing, typically used by poorly educated people. There are no surviving official documents that recall him as being a writer in any way. All official documents state that he was a businessman and a real estate owner. Shakespeare's will made no mention of any assets related to writings, books, or anything of that nature. All these facts paint a picture of a scenario where someone paid William Shakespeare to use him as a pseudonym for their own writings, and perhaps used his position as the owner of a theatre as their own personal venue. The best theory about the true authorship was Edward de Vere, 17th Earl of Oxford. He was well known to be a gifted poet and playwright. He was also known to sponsor companies of actors, and he was a patron of some of the most well-known theatres. Oxford would not have been at liberty to write about the topics found in Shakespeare's works. The only compelling evidence that I've heard from Shakespeare supporters are anecdotes written years after his death by people who knew Shakespeare and referring to him as a writer. I don't find this compelling at all. If Shakespeare made an arrangement to act as the author of someone else's works, surely such an arrangement would require Shakespeare lie to everyone. I'm certain that all his friends thought he was a writer. Memes about the NSA and other spy programs are encouraged by the very agencies spying on us to twist the idea into the absurd and to humanize their agents, or make everyone paranoid for even asking questions about the surveillance state. Panopticonio. Miley Cyrus's crazy streak was all a carefully planned marketing scheme to get her solidified as an A-list celebrity. I believe it was done to make Disney completely cut ties with her and kill the image of Hannah Montana. It's worked too. Hannah Montana was quite possibly Disney's largest TV show ever, but I haven't seen anyone even mention it for over 4 years now. And despite Disney cashing in on old hypes, Aladdin, Kim Possible, Lion King etc., we have yet to even hear an unsubstantiated rumor regarding Hannah Montana. Dad, is that you? But seriously though, my dad has been saying this since she first went wild. She had to do something completely extreme to destroy the image of Hannah Montana, and thus allow her to begin her own career as Miley Cyrus. The Vatican holds horrible dark secrets and many answers to existential questions, and that Area 51 is a publicity stunt by the government to hide the real testing facility. The Vatican has many vaults literally stuffed with thousands of documents that no one but people in the Pope's circle have access to. Who knows what's in those? I'm willing to bet there are parts of the Bible/Christian history that will never see the light of day thanks to Emperor Constantine creating the first official canon of the Bible. YouTube in a mobile browser is so shitty, so they can force you to use the app and not use an ad blocker. This is true for most mobile sites, this one included. Not only do they want to run their ads, they want the data that an app can get compared to a website. Reddit is almost completely unusable in the mobile browser unless you're just looking something up quickly. Some subreddits I've even gotten stuck with banners at the bottom saying to use the app where the button to exit doesn't even work, so you can only see like half the screen. Then there's the giant continue button and tiny part below it to go to the mobile site. Continue very obviously implies continue to the site you were trying to reach, not continue to a different app. Long John Silver's is some kind of money laundering scheme on the basis that they have been open for as long as I can remember, but I have also literally never seen a busy Long John's. Toxic delusion that I ironically entertain? Perhaps. You clearly didn't grow up in a white trash family. LJS is a poor man's Red Lobster. We would eat fast food almost every night when I was growing up, and maybe once a month get LJS. It was a treat. Some organization/group of people wanted all the Kennedys dead for some reason. Edit. The term conspiracy theory and its poor connotation was created by the US government specifically for skeptics of the official JFK assassination story. Just felt I should put that out there. This one stinks of punk rock scheming. Totally. The dead Kennedy just doesn't sound good. The president of the Philippines, Duterte, is very anti-drugs to hide his own involvements with drug cartels off which he makes billions. Funny enough, he once told supporters that if his own children were found to be dealing in drugs, they should be executed. Not long after, one of his children was found to be involved with a big shipment of cocaine. Ike, still alive. I may be shaky on some of the details here, but I remember reading this on Duterte's Wikipedia page. I'm at work. We'll find the source later if anyone is interested. Edit. Thanks to everyone who has posted sources in the comments. I got some of the details wrong. Meth, not coke, etc. But the gist is accurate. Also, Duterte had a past drug issue with fentanyl that nobody really knows if he's clean from, and apparently smokes weed. He's definitely clearing the market of any competition. Good way to secure control of supply. Only problem is you scare/kill off a ton of customers. That the CIA posts this question every time, so they know what the general public suspect. Apple started the meme about AirPods being expensive as a marketing ploy. Happened around Christmas. You might be right. Not only thing that was happening. I was in there getting my laptop fixed, and they were offering $150 gift card for anyone who bought a phone or laptop. Since people were buying stuff already, the extra money made AirPods a lot more affordable. The value of expensive art is just as a pseudo-currency for rich people to subtly buy drugs or other illicit things. Apparently, priceless art on Megayachts is under a big threat from champagne corks. Cops go on wires and leave random police sightings to cause people to slow without actually having to stay and check on people. One guy actually posted on Reddit that he did this so that his traffic duty was easier. It's better than giving tickets. Edit. There are states that have banned ticket quotas. I think it's smart for them. It gets the job done of getting people to slow down without having to worry about pulling over a crazy person. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more daily Reddit videos.